Hello and welcome back to Oversky deck Spotlight. Last week we took a look at S of Dawn's deck. This week we're going to take a look at Mono Blue Jump. Now, I've noticed a few players playing this on ladder, so I decided to investigate and try my own version out of Mono Blue Jump, and it's been pretty good so far. I've been pretty happy with how it's performed, but now we're going to take it for a spin here in deck Spotlight, and hopefully we can see a shift in the metagame, and Blue Jump will be back because I'm a big fan of the archetype. So any Blue Jump revival is fine by me. I would greatly appreciate it. So if the deck does perform, be sure to give it a go because I think it has a lot of potential, especially when going up against greedier decks where you can apply a lot of pressure early on and use those transform effects in order to control the match. So let's get into the games and see how it performs. Alright guys, into our first match. We'll see how this goes. Going against Chaoholic, so we're going against a very good player already. Now, funnily enough, I was playing Blue Jump a little earlier in the week, and I was surprised to see my opponents also playing Blue Jump. So maybe Blue Jump is having a resurgence. Who knows? And it's going to be some form of yellow there. Now I wish I'd kept hold of my my Emperor's Command. But we actually have a really good follow-up to this in the Battletoads. We put two creatures down, and even if this gets the power-up, we still get to clear. It needs like double Soul Drain. Now this could actually create aggressive land if it wants, which I don't think I'm that bothered about because I'll just continue to... So if this comes down and makes a desert, I'm just going to double neutral, kill it, and then double collect, and just play a Triton Warrior. Unless it's double Soul Drain, then I'd be really annoyed. Emperor's Command. Oh, wow, okay. Maybe just double neutral here. Okay. +1. Let's get these two guys down. Now, if this goes to collect, nothing can be summoned on this land. Gonna draw some more flyers. Might just be another Sunsilk Fairy. Maybe a Drakkar Sky Captain. Could be anything, really. I assume this is going to collect and just clear my warrior. It's going to be a Kaleem. And then another land. So I'm a little afraid of something like Flashwind going forward. We do have the Battletoads. So if this Flashwind's around and clears this somehow, that's fine. If it just kills a Battletoad, it's fine because my Archon can finish it off. But we really need to start collecting off our opponents well. It's very important because we want this card to be reduced as quickly as possible. Now the win condition for this deck could also be Colossus and the Windstorm Colossus. Looks like Kaleem's just going to shimmy to the other side. Takes a draw, doesn't get the proc, and we pick up another Frogify. So I could jump this here, I could double neutral jump this here, and then... Or I could double neutral here and jump this here, and then I could... Oh no, I can still double collect. I wouldn't mind Frogifying this now. Let's get our own aggressive lake, I think. That's what I want to get up to right now. We'll get an aggressive lake. And then we'll Frogify this. Preemptively. Then we'll jump this on the desert. So we're covering the aggressive desert. These two trade right now, which is fine. Frog has to jump back onto land or it's going to die because it's not aquatic. This also doesn't collect off this well unless there's removal. Now there could be a move down, flash wind, move in, hit face. Maybe a flash wind here to collect and clear the Archon. We will have to see. Goes for another desert. So that tells me there might be Windborne champions, maybe even Desert Twisters. Yep, it's going to be a Windborne champion. Shimmy into that slot there, get some additional Faeria, but also kill my 2/2. My 4/4, sorry. Into Choking Sands. So really respecting that I could have another Frogify, but also doesn't want me to collect off the well. Which is fair enough, to be honest. This can come down next turn and take care of my orb, get some orb damage. Can also collect instead. Just take a draw. Now I could have played this then, drawn and got the power up. So I'm more likely not going to get the power up off this now, but I was looking for something a bit more durable to fight the frog. So maybe like a Triton Warrior or Gabrian Archon. Unfortunately, I did not find it. Now, even if this does come down and hit me for 5, I can still jump across, Frogify, and finish it off. That is still an option. The unfortunate thing is, drawing that Wave Crash means I only have 1 Wave Crash, 1 Beirut, 2 Phantasm left. So the chances of this proccing again is very slim. So it's just going to collect Faeria. Okay. Maybe another champion to push it down to collect another Faeria. Nope, it's going to jump here and finish off my 4/2. There's a lot of champions in play right now, locking out my collection of the wells, making it very difficult. So I think the plan is jump here. +1 Phantasm. So the Phantasm trades with this. If this comes down, I can Frogify and then have a 5/3 remaining. Another Soul Pact. Okay. Flash Wind. Little shimmy, get that collection. Take the trade. Azari? That's 10 Faeria, it's a yellow card. Another Windborne champion. Make the move. Make the trade. Into a Manta Rider. So things are getting far more difficult for me to come back in this match. I literally can't stop this mobility. Yeah, we'll call that the first match for Blue Jump. Unfortunately, losing at the hands of Yellow Flyers. But very difficult game to come back from there, especially with all that mobility. But also, you know, nothing lining up for us that well. You know, getting that aggressive land. I probably should have stopped that, but it actually wasn't that relevant. It was all the mobility that caught me out. But yeah, unfortunate there. Maybe I should have played the commander first and drawn. I wouldn't have got the trade. That might have helped out. Unfortunate for Blue Jump. Doesn't quite have the same power level it once had. Let's get into another match and see if I can do a little bit better. Alright guys, another match. Let's see if we can do better this time. I want to keep the Frogify. Going to keep the Warrior as well. See if we can get an early favourable clear on a reasonable threat. Maybe something like a Ground Shaker. Something even bigger than that. You never know. Going for the lake in the middle. Go for another lake. Go for another lake. Play Triton Warriors. And this will allow us to enable Frogify, but also will give us the option of double neutral up this way. I mean, alternatively, we could double neutral here now and take a lake here later, but we definitely want a lake on the well because this allows our jumpers and our chargers to double collect. If we're left alone, if we're left free to do what we want. Which can be a little difficult in this meta because the meta revolves around aggression. Mainly with the yellow rush. There's the red decks are coming back out now to help counter that, having that removal available to counter rush. Or we're having these hard control decks to try and counter the kind of generic mid-range decks. So we can take this, and now we can go for the commander, which is very nice actually because it allows us to collect off this well, and we can also double neutral up next turn and collect off this well. So, making sure we're collecting plenty of Faeria. Now, Blue Jump is going to probably have its best matchups against these slower decks, but we still have to turn up the heat, you could say. We still need to apply pressure and make sure our opponent doesn't have the luxury of kind of doing what they want. Now, look, no land has been developed here. I'll tell a lie. Oh, it's going to be some form of tricolor deck, potentially. That's really cool. Double neutral up. Take this. Now, I'm probably going to frogify this in advance. Simply because if you takes this draw, draws another card. If another Dreamkeeper goes off, it's going to get massive and it's going to clear this. And then I don't want to lose another Warrior or another Archon straight after. So yeah, we're just a preemptive frogify here to protect the Triton Warrior in the aggressive position. A good way for us to apply pressure because we can even take out the Dream Keeper up here with the Commander and double collect off this well potentially. So a lot of good options coming for us on the follow-up. It's always funny seeing these like multicolored decks and all these kind of ideas and concepts that go into it. And that is a Manta. There's 2 Mantas picked up. The inferior Battletoads, in my opinion. But a little bit more synergy with cards like Aurora's Disciple. Because you get 2 like power-ups from the event synergy. Now, a good way to stop my 4-2 from clearing a Dreamkeeper is to put a land in front of it. And kind of hope that I don't get that additional card power-up from the drawing the 7 cost. Because moving here is not entirely safe. Well, I don't think it's going to be safe anyway, right? Oh, and the Gift of Rakoa there. Kind of stopping me in my tracks. A little unfortunate. This is going to retreat regardless. Hopefully pick up that Emperor's Command. Pick up Aurora instead. Interesting. Let's take a draw. Now, I might just move this up anyway to contest it. I could clear this. This costs 3 Faeria. I'm investing 8 Faeria. It's not that bad, actually. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I'm happy taking a trade here. I'll just Battletoads. I want to leave this here because if this comes to collect, I'm going to look at dropping Aurora on this to finish this off and keep my commander in a nice, strong, aggressive position, but also a position where it can double collect. Now, I could get foiled by a land here, but if I do draw that 7 cost, it's going to be pretty good for me because I won't need to Aurora and I'll still clear out the Dreamkeeper. Another monk. Another day. Now, one of the beauties of Blue Jump is you don't need like lands in this region necessarily because you can use like a land here and a lot of your creatures can get there. Actually, the only creature that of any relevance that doesn't have that form of mobility is the Wavecrash Colossus. So getting that aggressive land here would be nice, but I'm not going to have that option, unfortunately. Now, we're going to get to double reduce this. which is really good. So we don't need to use Aurora on this anymore. We can take the double collect. This is going to go down to 4. We could then Aurora this after we clear the Lore Thief, so it challenges the Wandering Monk. I'd love to get a lake here and play something on here, but it's not really an option right now. Maybe we do take a draw, because I don't know where I'm going to put a lake otherwise at this point. So I'm going to take a draw first. Pick up an Emperor's Command. Not really that relevant right now. So we'll just go with our plan. Could even Frogify this. But I guess we're using Aurora as a form of Frogify in a way. We're making this at a level where it's very difficult for the monk to clear it. Or if the monk does clear it, at least it's going to trade. And we're demanding something like a Dreamkeeper to come down. And if our opponent goes for a draw here to try and find some cycle in order to get this powered up, it means that maybe this can move here, get the lake down, and then we play the aggressive Colossus. Worst case scenario, we move here and play a lake here and then play a Colossus on this land, and then we've got a Mystic Beast avenue just from this lake alone. But we also have... Ah, nice. Okay, so unless this dies, I might be able to get that aggressive lake I want just for my Colossus. I guess worst case scenario is Dreamkeeper comes down on this spot. And then I am not able to move this because I'm going to be taunted. So I might have to Frogify, move in and lake just to get that pressure. But we'll see what happens. Maybe a Skyak. Bit of a frustrated shimmy from our opponent. Now we can Frogify this to stop any Skyak shenanigans, but alternatively, I could have just Frogified this, clear this with my 2/2 frog, hit for 6, hit for 5, play a lake, play a Colossus, and we're basically just going for a lethal. And I think I much prefer that, to be honest. Let's not overextend. I don't think I can lose from this position. It's looking pretty good for me. Now, what would have to come down for me to lose? Maybe trade the 3/2 in. And then Skyak to block my 7/7? I mean, that could get some time at least. Dreamkeeper, so that's going to taunt up my 6/6. Gets the cycle. A nice hefty hand there. Some cheap mantas showing up. 8 cards. And it's like an 8-card mulligan with a cost reduction. It's pretty nice. Now a great draw for us going forward is a Phantasm. It will allow the 7/7 and 6/6 to push. Double command doesn't really help. Let's take another draw. Oh, we'll just take the other Colossus. Now I could cover the special lands, but I don't think that's going to make any difference. We're going to get a concede from Boom there. So, as you can see, Blue Jump can do pretty well when going up against greedier decks, because you have a lot of pressure, you have a lot of mobility, which allows you to get up towards it orb quicker, and then make sure the control player can't just sit back and do what they want. But yeah, good game. Let's get on to the next one. Alright guys, another match. Let's see what we draw. Not bad. Commander and the Archon. Quite like it. Let's just split our forces. We can go send one off in one direction using the aquatic and charge 3, and then stick one onto our land to collect. And the great thing about Commander, which I really like in Blue Jump, is because it's aquatic, it might not be answered by certain colours that don't have removal, and you have the option then of just putting in a double collector position, getting a lot of Faeria down. It's really nice. It's going to be a water elemental. So we'll chase the water elemental with the Archon. Unless we just go for double commander. Yeah, I think that's the way forward here. Just go double commander. It allows us to collect the most Faeria, but also allows us to challenge the water elemental for a trade, which is not that bad, to be honest. It's pretty good for us. And the more Faeria we collect, the better. And this is going to be some form of ramp deck by the looks of it. Earthcraft. Is that a forest? No, it's going to be a desert. Another tricolor deck. Very interesting. So we can collect off here, but the problem is, unless we draw that 7 cost, we're not going to be able to travel up here and collect there. So alternatively, I might just clear this and then move this here. Or I clear this, I collect off this well, and then I could go in between the wells, actually. So I could put this in between the wells to double collect, then clear this, and then just play a lake here and set up a warrior. Seems pretty good to me. We might keep this alive. I could use the Empress command. Sure. But yeah, if we Empress command, do I just take a draw this turn? Maybe. Although I would like to get a lake here anyway. So yeah, we'll do that. So we're gonna go for the Empress command. We set up less collection though. It's the only thing that bothers me, because I want to double collect next turn off these wells. So maybe I just take the trade. I don't know. I'm gonna try the Empress command line. Oh no, yeah. Can't decide. Yeah, we'll just do this, and we'll take that lake we were talking about, and we can set up the double collector for next turn. We're starving our opponent for a bit of Faeria, but we also have this 4-1, which can maybe do a bit of damage for the next potential elemental that comes down. So if a wood elemental comes down, I get to kill that too, which would be quite nice. We're also threatening damage to the orb. I could move onto this lake, make an aggressive lake, and then start hitting. That could be a problem for my opponent. So it's gonna be a Skyak. Gonna need a Frogify for that. Maybe I just go aggro now. It's gonna make a forest there. So I'm hoping these trigger from drawing a 7 cost. So give me a 7 cost. I'd be very happy with that. Because I still get to collect off my opponent's well. Gonna push maybe 5 damage this turn. Make a lake. Play a warrior. Start applying a lot of pressure. Don't know what my opponent can do with 1 Faeria. Unless it's soul packed into something. Cross my fingers. Interesting. Huh, so I can't get there. Do I just take the aggressive land? Do I take the draw? Maybe try and get that Frogify, clear this after a Frogify? It's hard to say. Although, if I draw and I get the 5 free, I can actually move here and start pushing damage. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna go for the draw. No rewards. So what is 4 damage here? I think I just killed this. Stop a Faeria being collected. Let's play a warrior. So opponent's on 4 Faeria. Now this could, you know, if I picked a Frogify, I would have definitely Frogified that and cleared. It was an option. Oh, I've got more Skyaxe. Man, I don't like Skyaxe. Very annoying cards. Maybe I should have taken the aggressive line there. Now, the mobility of my creatures kind of benefits me quite a lot, because even though this lake blocks me out, I can double collect lake here and just play an Archon or a warrior, and it's going to be able to push damage, even potentially like jump here, make land, and then my other warrior jumps across. So I don't know, maybe I had a missed opportunity of 4 damage. It was tough because I've never played blue jump against Skyaxe deck before. Problem is, if an Aurora's Creation comes down, I'd probably just lose. So maybe I needed to just apply pressure that turn, get that lakes down, you know, get that warrior, push 4 before these Skyaxe start coming down. Oh, well, you're a little late, my friend. It's fine. So we're going to take that aggressive lake. We'll command this, and then we'll clear it. We're leaving this guy up so they trade, at least. Maybe something we don't even want to happen, I suppose. I don't know. Probably not. It's one of those cards you just don't want to clear it. Do I leave my opponent with a double collector? Probably not. It's hard to say. Is that another Skyaxe? Please say that's not another Skyaxe. Having all the Skyaxe in the top 10 cards would be really frustrating. Now we can jump here, lake there, and play a blocker, which will be my Colossus at this point. Now all the Skyaxe are dead, there's no creation targets at least. My opponent's going to have to play a Skyaxe and get the multiples, and then play the creation. That's a lot of Faeria. That's 8 Faeria in total. Something that's not going to be easy to get from this position, especially if I'm applying this much pressure. Do apologize for my opponent running down the clock here every turn, even when there's nothing to do. Delaying the inevitable, I say. Savoring the moment before I completely crush them. Oosh, oosh. What are you going to do about this, Skilla? Collect Faeria, apparently. +1 Nightmare. +1 Skyaxe? Don't really care about that. Whale. Still push 4 damage. Still pushing 8 damage there. So the Sky Whale here isn't producing too many problems, fortunately. I'm going to be able to continue to push damage. Probably my concern is the positioning of this lake. If this was here, it'd be much better because I'd be able to play the Archon without it getting cleared. by the Manta Rider. So I think I might just go for Battletoads instead. Now, Battletoads won't represent lethal, but it gives me... It stops the Manta Rider from just clearing my Archon for free. Then if I pick up a Phantasm... Well, I won't have enough Faeria for a Phantasm, but an Aurora would be closer to lethal that way. Unless I just play the Archon here. Yeah, actually, that's a little better. But then this just blocks it. This moves here and just clears one of these and blocks it. So maybe not. So yeah, let's just take the Battletoads. So my opponent could have another whale, but again, I'm not having any pressure applied to me. This is my opponent playing completely reactively. So this still allows me to keep punching through with these frogs, with these Archons, and then hopefully I'll pick up that Aurora and able to finish off my opponent. See, if I had pushed that 4 damage earlier, I would have had lethal with the commander. So maybe, yeah, I probably would have needed to push that damage instead of blocking the 1 Faeria. Because I don't think the 1 Faeria has been that relevant. Although, did my opponent +1 last turn? Oh, Frog Tosser, okay. That's just a complete trade-off. I can now crack open my Sky Whale. I can crack open the Sky Whale now and get my 7/7 back. That's pretty good. And I can just kill this with Emperor's Command. So that kind of works out for me. I can collect as well. Oh, wow, I can do lots of things. Lots of good things going forward. So I will take a draw, because if I draw Aurora, I just win. No, okay. So, yeah, we'll get this guy open. He's back. Now we'll just Emperor's Command this. So there's 2 2/2s now to contest my 7/7. +1 Sky Whale's a little sad. Interesting. Into Frog Tosser again. But then I just go into another Colossus. Yeah. And then I have Archon. Oh, that's an unfortunate place for that to spawn. If it spawned here or here, it would have been much better for me. Oh, the Aurora! Alright. So I can play this here. And then you can +1 Sky Whale. Oh man. It's going back and forth so far. I can't really get this out of range. Do I keep taking draws? Or do I just start gaining some? I think I'm going to start just taking some Faeria now. I don't need the draws. I have an Archon coming down next. I have a Frogify if I need to Frogify a Taunt. I doubt there's going to be a Taunt. He jumps. Could Skyak to block. Lake. Into Fagoro. And a Gabria. Sunken Tower is going to be lethal for me now. But I need to draw it. I can't draw off my power wheel. So I probably just move here, kill the Fagoro, then play the Archon. If I don't get the Sunken Tower. Alright, so I didn't draw the Sunken Tower, so I will just move across here. Kill the Fagoro, and then I'll just play the Archon. Could take a draw. I'm not that behind in Faeria, actually. Because then I draw deeper towards that Sunken Tower. Nah, that's not very useful to me right now. Maybe this should have come down this side to make it more awkward to block. It's much easier to block here, actually. Yeah, a bit of misstep from me there. I think this is a better position. I can just place something here. It's a forest. To a Soul Eater. Wasn't expecting that. But it's lethal. I'm just going to hit this and hit for 7 and win the game. No way you can come back from this position. And that is going to wrap up this match and finish off our opponent, who is going to drop the concede there. So there we have it. Blue Jump doing pretty well. Let's go into one final game. See if I can get that win streak. Into our last match of this episode. Going against Obsidian B. See how things go down. I'd love to keep this if I did have a creature to go along with it. But man, I don't have a chance to use this really. I'd like to try it out. So I'm going to keep this. Picked up the Archon, so it did work out for our favour. But mainly because I just want to see how good this card is in comparison to the old Prophet of Tides. Because Prophet of Tides was one of the cards that really pushed Blue Jump into the top tier stand-ins back before the Oversky. And then it got changed, where it couldn't target any other land on its own, which made it a lot weaker in that respect. But, you know, I think Sunken Tower is still pretty decent. Like I said, we'll see how it works out, because even this can collect here, but it can't get away from my Archon. And the great thing about Sunken Tower is you're able to move your lands into a position where you can develop an aggressive lake on an enemy well to set up those Mystic Beast spots. We'll see what our opponent gets up to. There shouldn't be any mobility. We're just going to move to the center. Not going to be enough, unfortunately. I can chase this down and use the Frogify to get rid of it. That is an option. So I can move my land here with the Sunken Tower, lake here, move up, Frogify, and clear this. I think I'll just go for it. The only sad thing about it, well, alternatively, I could just play Beirut. Because I won't be able to play Beirut on the follow-up. Yeah, let's just go for Beirut, actually. So Beirut's a little better here because I'm putting down a very strong body, an 8/10, so this needs a last nightmare really to get answered, unless it's like a combination of things to clear it. But what I do have now is the option to Sunken Tower my Beirut here, and then move Beirut into a position where it can finish off this brute. And it's a little bit more reliable than going for the Frogify. As attractive the Frogify looked, the problem is the Archon is just so vulnerable to the Cypher's Wrath, and I was in a position where I could just play Beirut and get it down. It could be quite difficult in a back and forth game, you know, having that mate of Faeria and being in a kind of a neutral position to be able to play this card. So we'll see what happens. Is that going to be a Kaleem's Training? Yes, it is. So no Flashwing can happen at least. So I'm probably just going to Frogify this. Probably Sunken Tower this up. Maybe I Sunken Tower this across. Then move this here, just kill all these lands. Problem is I won't be able to Frogify. I'm a little afraid of Flashwind at this point. However, I could have my Sunken Tower in the way. You know, I think killing all these lands is quite valuable, but then again, I can get Nightmared. Nightmare Flashwind would be pretty devastating here, and collecting off the well, which I can still do. Alright, you know what, let's try it out. We'll put this in front of my orb. And we'll double neutral up. And we get the cost reduction. We get the Beirut in the dangerous spot, so I'm kind of demanding my opponent have an answer to this right now, or I'm just to kill all the lands. And then I can just Frogify this later. I mean, even if this comes down with a Flash Wind, it hits my Sunken Tower. I take 2 damage, but then I turn it into a Frog, and it's no longer a threat. And I still, if this doesn't get answered, you know, cost reduction continues to happen. So this is, I think this is a pretty strong line if there's no counterplay. So it's a kind of a high risk, high reward play I'm going for, and by the looks of it, it looks like it's going to pay off. Unless we see like double Gift of Steel come down and just run straight into that Beirut. It's nice to see Beirut back. I haven't had a chance to use Beirut in a long time. Very cool legendary. Such a unique ability as well with its production, transforming all adjacent lands into lakes. So a kind of a way to nuke lands if they're not playing blue. Because why would my opponent want lakes? Lakes are not helpful. Because if let's say I turn these all to lakes, right? And I double neutral across. Interesting. Double Flame Burst? Okay. Into the Ground Shaker. So I'm able to play a lake here. And then play the Wave Crash Colossus for 6. And this will empower my Archon at the +2/+2. And then I can trade. Or I could just Frogify. I could just Frogify +1, play another Archon. Get the double collection off anyway, and then go into a cheaper Colossus. This also keeps my Archon alive, which is pretty valuable at this point. Our opponent's Faeria Staffs, you know, massive investment there to clear out that Beirut. Alright, so we now get to position everyone around. Might take a lake this side. Play the Colossus. Get that power up going. Feels good. We'll see what the answer is here. Can't see there being a good one. Not with red, yellow burn. But Obsidian's going to continue and try and find a way back into this. I'm not sure what it is. It's going to be a Scourge Flame. Kaleem's training. Clear my 1 Archon. It's not lethal yet, but it is very close. I don't think there is anything that can find me lethal here. Just play another Colossus. Look at all this power. Is blue jump back, guys? You tell me. You tell me. Is blue jump back? Because I've said many times, I love me some blue jump. And then we have it. Gonna finish off with the Archon. I know it wasn't given the satisfaction, but 3-1 altogether. Getting all those stars, win streaks, highest level opponent. Feels good, guys. And that wraps up this episode of Oversky Deck Spotlight. Hope you guys enjoyed the blue jump. Did very well. Very impressed with how it performed overall. And hopefully, guys, you guys will give it a spin yourself. See how it does for you. Maybe it'll become a meta deck once more. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, drop a subscribe to keep up to date of when our content goes live. If you haven't checked it already, be sure to watch this week's episode of Journey into Pandora. Nice 2-parter there. See how I perform with a red rush or maybe a red midrange. Maybe a bit of both. Find out in that episode. So until next time, guys, take care and enjoy Mono Blue Jump.